One of the more enjoyable uses for manifestation is in creating relationships, especially romantic relationships, because these are the relationships that are the most satisfying on many different levels. We have friends, we have coworkers, we have other family, and all of those relationships are good. But it seems that even with all of those different relationships, something is just missing if we don't have a special person, a close, intimate relationship, a romantic relationship with someone special. And this is an area that I have done a lot of work with in my own life because obviously I feel the same way. If I am going through life without a relationship, as I have for quite a number of years of my life, something just doesn't feel complete. And so I have often used the manifesting processes that I teach, although back then it wasn't nearly as developed. But I've also often used manifesting processes to create relationships. Now, there's different ways of approaching this. A lot of people are best served by focusing on creating a new relationship and being open to whoever comes in. And that really is the best way to create a new relationship. There are some times and there are some situations where you have somebody specific in mind and you want to manifest a relationship with that specific person. This is something I have done. And so I can vouch for the fact that yes, it does work. You can manifest a relationship with one very specific person if that is your choice. I will also say that those relationships never lasted, at least for me. So I was best served by being open to whoever came in. And here's, I guess, the basic line that I will talk about before we really get into the how-to part of this. The people that we already know is such a small sampling of the larger population. There are so many people that we don't yet know. And if we are picking someone from this small pool of people to be in a relationship with, if we're picking one person and saying, this is the person I want to be in a relationship with, that may not necessarily be the best person for you. I'm thinking through all of the different problems that I ran into. I really don't want to go there in this video because every situation is going to be different. Maybe you know this person really well. Maybe you've already been in a relationship with this person and it broke up for some reason. If that last example is the case, if you've already been in a relationship with this specific person and you enjoyed that relationship, but for some reason the other person decided to call it off, to go a different direction, the next bit of information that I want to share is something you really need to consider. Why did that person decide that you were not the right person for them? Was there something about yourself that did not resonate with that other person? Because a true relationship, an ideal relationship, is one where both people are so much in harmony with each other that one is an extension of the other. When you have that level of a relationship where everything is in harmony, everything is absolutely perfect, both people feel fulfilled and complete in that relationship, neither one wants to leave. So if you enjoyed the relationship and the other person didn't, you might want to take a look inside yourself and say, what was it about you and your part of that relationship that gave them a reason to look elsewhere? So manifesting happens on multiple levels. There is the non-physical level that we tap into, that we direct what I call divine power to create a specific outcome in the physical world. There's that level of manifesting. There's also the physical level of manifesting. What we do, what we say, how we interact with other people, that all plays into the overall experience of manifesting. Okay, so I've taken care of the basic caveats about manifesting a relationship with a very specific person. May not be the best person for you. There may be someone even better just a couple blocks away from where you are now. You don't know. So with all of that out of the way, how do you manifest a relationship with a specific person? Well, I'll tell you how I did it and how it worked for me, because it did work. And in one particular case that I'm thinking of right at the moment, I had gotten a picture of that person. And it was just an average snapshot. It wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't a formal portrait. It wasn't anything private. It was just a normal everyday snapshot. These days, you can find pictures of most people online on their social media. It doesn't matter. But I had this picture, and I spent time, I made a formal process where I separated myself away from the rest of the world. I went and focused on my inner world, and I focused on that specific person being in my inner world. And I would look at the picture with my physical eyes. I would close my eyes and see the same person there, and I'd go back and forth to make sure I had a good, true, clear picture of that person within my mind. And then I imagined being in a relationship with that person, doing things with that person, going to places with that person, talking with that person, having sex with that person. I mean, it went the whole route. And all the while, I am relaxing as deeply into myself as I possibly could. I was focusing my mind as tightly as I could, ignoring every bit of information of what was around me. I was focusing 100% of my mind on that inner experience of being with that person. And that was the manifestation process I used at that time. Today, I would do it a little bit differently. I would use this process that I call harmonic prayer, which I've done at least a couple of videos on. I'll link to one of them up here. I would do this harmonic prayer process where I would relax. I would go within, I'd slow my brain down from beta into alpha, to slow myself down to get into that inner world. I would open up my emotions with positive emotions. I would focus on the emotions of love, joy, gratitude, peace, fulfillment, all of those wonderful positive emotions to set the stage, to set a foundation upon which to build. And then I would do what I did back then, which I had jumped ahead a couple of steps at that point. But after relaxing, after opening up the positive emotions, I would then go in and imagine that end result that I wanted, the full relationship experience, every aspect of it, and make it feel as real as possible. That's what I did then. That's what I suggest doing now. Bring in all of the sights, the sounds, the textures, the touch, the sensations, and the emotions that would be part of that experience. Make it as real as you possibly can. Spend time in there. It doesn't have to be a quick experience. It also doesn't have to be a 5-hour marathon either. Just stay in that experience as long as it feels comfortable. If it takes a minute to make it feel like, yes, this is a real experience and this feels good and I'm satisfied with it, then only spend a minute with it. If it feels comfortable and you're enjoying the process for a half an hour or an hour, take that much time. When I did eventually manifest the relationship I now have with my wife, Linda, of 25 years, during that period, I was focusing on that inner experience for a half hour at a time. I don't remember how much time I spent in this other experience where I focused on a specific person, but it was probably at least 10 to 15 minutes at a time. It wasn't quite as long, but as a general rule, okay, 5 minutes to an hour, somewhere in that range, as long as it feels comfortable, and as long as you can end the process by feeling that, yes, this felt like a real experience. I've just spent time with the person that I love, and now I'm moving on to the next thing I'm going to do for my day. And again, going back to that harmonic prayer process that I would use today, if I were doing the same thing, after imagining that experience, I would bring in the feelings of absolute truth, absolute reality, and I would anchor in that visualized, imagined experience into my mind with those concepts of absolute truth. This is a real experience. This did happen, and it will happen again. And then after it's done, then I would be looking for it. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way. This is one thing where there are a number of videos online that will talk about don't stalk the person. You definitely don't want to do anything negative when you are interacting with this person. And here again, in my case, the person that I was focusing on, at least in the example I was just thinking about, lived several states away. We had met one afternoon, had a good time there, and then talked on the phone for several months before deciding to get together again. And during that time, I didn't see her on a regular basis. And so there were the phone calls. And when we talked on the phone, I let it go the way it was going to go. I didn't try to force the situation. See, that's another thing about this whole thing. If you try to force a situation, and let's address this right now, the inner beliefs that lead to the desire to force a situation. Okay, we're talking inner psychology here. And I've spent a lot of time studying the slight, subtle variations of this inner psychology. If you feel the need to control a situation, it is arising from a belief that it may not work. That is fear, not faith. By trying to control the situation, you do not yet trust that it's going to go the right direction that you want. When you truly believe that this is going to work, when you truly believe that this is working out to the end that I want it to be, when you truly trust that, like, okay, yeah, you're going off somewhere else. Yeah, you're going out on a date with somebody else. Okay, fine. Have fun, because I know once you're done with that, you're coming back to me. That's the attitude that you need inside your mind, that whatever they do is okay because it's going to lead them to you. That is the level of faith that you need in manifesting to make it work. That no matter what happens, it's working out to your desired outcome. That's where you need to leave it. That's how you need to live it. And as you do that, the look in your eye, the expressions on your face, the gestures of your body, the ideas that you express, all of that will resonate with that same idea that, hey, we're going to be together. You don't have to say it overtly. It will come through in everything else that you do. If you have a clear focus, if you can imagine the outcome you want with enough clear, vibrant, rich sensation the feelings that would be involved in that outcome that you want to manifest. And if you have enough faith to trust that it is working and you will get the outcome you want, if you have those three things in abundance, it's going to work one way or another. Now, I want to end this video the way I started it. Yes, you can manifest a relationship with a specific person, but you're going to get that specific person as they are. Maybe, depending on how much you know about this person, maybe you only see the positive, best side that they show the world. And you don't yet know the dark, seedy pockets of negativity that they hide and keep only to themselves. And that stuff will come out in a romantic relationship eventually. So depending on how well you know the person, you may be getting what you expect. You may be getting something more than you expect. So that's why I strongly recommend that when trying to manifest a relationship, you let it be open. Just send me the best person possible. I am truly happy and ecstatic to be in this wonderful relationship that is now coming to me, and it is going to be wonderful. If you can be open to letting the universe pick the right person for you, you will be so much happier than trying to force somebody into a situation that may or may not be right for them, which gets into a whole other element of why it's not a good idea to manifest a relationship with a specific person. There's karma involved too. So hopefully I've given you all the information you need, positive and negative, to truly make the right decision for you. And if you truly know this person, if you have been in a relationship with them, you know what they're like, and you have identified certain characteristics within yourself that cause that relationship to end, and you've addressed those, and you think you might be able to make it work, that is a good reason to manifest that specific relationship with that specific person. And I wish you the best of luck. Until next time, be blessed, my friend.